Hello there everyone, it's Aidan here from Push Square, and this is the PS Portal, which just received an enormous update regarding cloud streaming. So today we're going to get into the particulars of this and showcase it actually running. So before you get started, you're going to have to actually update your PlayStation Portal, and this can actually take a bit of time. The actual download process is not really much of a hassle at all, it's the installing process, and this took me upwards of 5 minutes to complete, so get ready to sit around. Once that's done though, you can restart your PS Portal a couple of times before eventually having to re-sign into your account. It's fairly simple process, from this point on, and that's you're in. Now this, it has to be emphasised, is only available for PS Plus Premium subscribers. It does not come with Essential or Extra, just Premium. Now it was a feature previously with the PS Portal where you could stream a collection of games that were available on the PS Premium catalogue, but this update is very different. Now we've got a new menu here, which is actually quite nice. I really like this inclusion here, and you'll see here to the left we have streaming games in your library. That's the big update here, where you can now stream a surprising amount of your games through the PS Portal, whether they're downloaded to your console or not, and it's giving the PS Portal so much more value for its money. And here, for example, I'm going to try out Black Myth Wukong. Now, we know from streaming on the PlayStation 5 on itself, that it takes a little bit to get these games booted up. We're talking roughly anywhere between 30 seconds and a minute. As you'll see here, I'm not cutting away. This is the real unfiltered time that it takes to boot up these games. But this game in particular is one that I currently have installed in my PlayStation 5. I'm going to try some that I do not have installed but have played in the past as well. But I was actually very surprised by how many games are available through this feature, because it had said it was limited, and from the looks of things it's solely PS5 games as well. You're not streaming your PS4 games here unless they're a cross-gen game that's also available on the PS5. Now here we have the initial boot up sequence. Now this is a bit annoying here because I have to go through a bunch of setup stuff even though I played this game, so that does slow down the impressiveness, I think, of this a little bit. But I didn't think the time to load up Black Myth Wukong was actually too bad. Now, as you saw, and we'll go through the library a little later, or have a flick through it at least, there are a lot of games on this now, and this is almost my entire library. From what I could tell, it was my entire PlayStation 5 library. I didn't see anything in particular that was missing out, so it is vastly improving or expanding the catalogue that was previously available just through the premium catalogue. Now here we go, we're finally about to get into the game, and as you can see, loading times for this really aren't too bad. It's going about roughly the same pace as the PlayStation 5 from what I can tell. I'm not doing side-by-side timers here, so there, of course, maybe you could look into that a little bit more extensively. But are we going to get into it? Here we go. Waiting still. There we go. Now we're finally into Black Myth Wukong, and the immediate thing that I'm noticing is a little bit of input lag, which is to be expected with cloud streaming. It's not going to be as attuned as it is playing natively on the PS5. Now that doesn't really change things for the Portal in my opinion, because the Portal has always been a device that you should choose wisely in which games you're going to play. I've always opted to play slower games. I'm not playing first-person shooters. I'm not really going to play probably a game like Black Myth Wukong because it's about precise timing of dodges and attacks. Now sadly during this little bit I didn't actually get to find an enemy. It's an enemyless area, which is a bit of a disappointment, but you can at least see the graphical the look, it is holding up here. Now this is running at 1080p and 60 frames per second. You'll see in a wee second that you can actually change the resolution to 720p. Now Sony recommends a minimum of 15 megabits per second for the internet connection, but of course the more you have the better. And if you are struggling, depending on whether your Wi-Fi connection is a little shaky, then maybe you could drop down to 720, but it's nice to have that option so you can maintain a higher performance. Now, yeah, without the input lag here, I have to say I think it is running pretty well and it looks really nice. And of course, having through PS cloud streaming, or cloud that saves, I suppose, I've just jumped straight back into my save from Black Myth Wukong, which I have on my PS5. I just beat a boss in this area, a month or so ago, so that's why I was a little turned around as to where I was. But we'll head back out to the store in a wee second. Let's have a look at, actually, here we are, the option for max resolution, and there you can see it's as simple as selecting one of these, and you'll have to restart the game to do this, but there we go, a nice little option. So heading back to the store, or the game library I suppose, is really easy and quite quick. There you are, you're back into it. Now clicking on this, here we have almost everything that, well, everything from what I can tell of all of the games that I've had on PlayStation 5. So I decided here to try out a game that I have not touched in a long time, but I have played, so I've got a 20-something hour save on this game. I never completed it, but it is not installed on my PlayStation 5. So this is just a save from a game that I played over a year ago on the PlayStation Portal, and I've just clicked on it here. We'll see eventually when it manages to connect. I think this one actually does go a bit quicker than Black Myth Wukong, which is kind of interesting, and we get into things a little bit quicker as well. But it's really cool to know that I can select all of my saves are accessible via the PS Portal here. There's no trying to load things in or updating the save files, so that it's all seamlessly working across the PlayStation Cloud, so that I can access it on my Portal and then on my PlayStation 5. So I could play 30 minutes here, drop the console, and then pick it back up, the Portal, and pick it back up on console. And as you can see again, this is looking pretty good. I think Dragon Age is actually a slightly better game to play on Portal because the combat's slightly slower. It's a bit more of a slow-paced RPG in that regard. But yeah, this I wanted to try out one of these games that I hadn't played in quite some time, and we'll go in for one more as well. Once we and this here, this is the streaming catalog available through Premium. So if you're subscribed, which you have to be to use the cloud streaming, there is a whole selection of games available through that as well. But these here are solely the games that are on my library. What did I go for this time? I can't actually quite. I'm recording this after actually doing this, and just commentating as we go along. But yeah, I go for Resident Evil 4, another game that I've not played in a long time. But the cloud save is there, so we're clicking on it here, and we'll see how long it takes to boot this up. This is probably a game I would again play on this, just because the combat is slightly slower paced, although the aiming could be an issue with input lag. Again, it's really down to the person of how much that irritates you. It's there and it always will be to some degree with internet connection. For some reference, I'm running around about 1.1 gig internet, so this is fairly good internet that I have, and that's how you're getting it starting up a bit quicker. So maybe if yours isn't as strong, just take that into account before you decide to go for this. But again, Sony recommends a minimum of 15 megabits per second for streaming on the PlayStation Portal. And here we go, we're like straight in. This was actually really impressive with how quickly it booted up the game. Sorry, there's a little bit of a focus issue here, but yeah, straight into things. Looking great as well, I have to say. But that has been cloud streaming. Let's have just a quick look here. I'm going to show the oldest games. This is when I think I realized that it was purely PS5 games, because the oldest games I have, they're all still PS5 games here. But yeah, you've got like a really extensive collection, and I think almost Sony has underplayed how many games you can access through this, and it is such an enormous upgrade to the PS Portal, and I think this is going to be a huge boon for those that have already had it, and a big convincer to people that are maybe sitting on the fence. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for checking this one out, and if you enjoyed the video, remember to subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation video content just like this.